Hi, this is Frank Shamrock, MMA legend, UFC superstar, and you're listening to MMA Crib Fighting Talk.
Gregory Stone, MMAcript.com. On today's show, I'll be speaking with Miles Hunsinger. Miles returns on to Boise, Idaho, November 7th, as he's set to take on Billy the Kid Martin at Front Street Fights 3. With that, welcome to the show, Miles.
Hey, good to be here.
Now, Miles, what I want to do is I want to start with your record first and foremost. Now, I've done as 2-0 as an amateur and 3-0 as pro. Now, what I did, I was watching a few of your fights on YouTube the other day, and you finished one of your fights via standing guillotine. Now, on your Sherdog record, they don't have you down as finishing any fights via guillotine choke, so I'm assuming they have your record incorrect, either your amateur or pro, or possibly both. So, could you confirm your amateur record and your pro record for us, please, Miles?
Yes, sir. I'm 3-0 as an amateur and 3-0 as a professional, so 6-0 altogether.
There we go. That must have been the standing guillotine as an amateur, so that confirms it there. Sherdog, sort your records out. Now, Miles.
Yeah, they messed it up.
Now, Miles, looking at your early record, obviously you got one win via decision. The rest are all by submission. So that's 5 victories via submission so far, but 2 of those victories are obviously via punches. But still, looking at your early record, you look like a submission guy. But having watched your fights, Miles, you're pretty much a ground and pound guy. You rather look for ground and pound positions rather than looking for the submissions. I.e., you prefer to put the one knock in from the back rather than commit to ball fucks like most BJJ guys. You prefer to strike from there. And I noticed when you get high mount, you prefer to strike rather than look for mounted triangles or arm bars, etc. So would you say it's safe to say that you're more of a ground and pound guy, Miles, than a submission guy?
Oh yeah, it's definitely safe to say. I love the ground and pound, man. That's definitely my specialty. Now,
the rest of your submissions, other than the standing guillotine, they do come via way of rear naked choke. Now, would you say that the fighters give up the neck basically because you pound them out?
That's exactly what's happening. That's exactly what's happening. They get punched in the face a few times. They start forgetting about protecting that neck.
Well, let's talk about you moving out to Las Vegas. Obviously, you used to train with Brandon Hempelman and Scott Jorgensen, etc. Pretty high-level names, to be honest with you, in the sport of MMA. But apparently, you was lacking training partners, your own size. Obviously, you fight middleweight. So you moved out to Las Vegas. You train at Syndicate MMA. How's things going there now in terms of training partners, your own size?
Oh man, it's great. I train with a bunch of studs that are more closer to my size. The move out to Las Vegas couldn't have gone any better. It started out with Mike Powell was a part of his training camp, and he really took me under his wing, and we did the whole camp together, and he taught me a ton about really being a high level professional and doing this sport the right way. And then from there, started training with a guy that was fresh off the Ultimate Fighter show. His name is Josh Hillbilly Heartthrob, and he really helped me out for my camp. And he's a big 85er. I think he's like 6'2", I'm 220. And so he's a little bigger than me. But I like to work with guys that are bigger than me. Just when I get in the fight, it feels a little easier with the guys that are my size.
Does Mike Powell still train with JT Money, Jesse Taylor?
I'm not sure. He his last training camp, he trained a lot with another. I can't think of his name right now. He was training with another UFC guy a lot because he was getting ready for a southpaw. But me and him started training. I started linking back up and training.
Was it
to help me out with this camp.
Yeah, I'm sure he potentially trains there.
He's the guy that just won the title for World Series, I believe, right? What's his name? Trains out of California with the Diaz brothers. But yeah, I'm not sure.
So how are you settling in at Vegas then, Miles? You're not getting attracted to the party lifestyle. Is it all training, or you're balancing the two?
Oh yeah, man. I'm trying to stay away from all that. I got a little boy and a little family and a dream of becoming a UFC star. So trying to stay away from the party scene and just focus on my my training and my family was important.
Now, apparently you train with Jimmy Gifford too, at the Red Rock Hotel and Casino. Have you been training with Jimmy Gifford since you moved out to Las Vegas, or has it just been in the recent months?
Yeah. It was Mike Powell's the one that introduced me to Jimmy, and you know, I was attracted to him right away, man. He's a great guy. He's from Boston. He's got that strong Boston accent, and it's hilarious, man. When in my head, I always got a Boston accent telling me what to do, like when I'm trying to think about what I'm trying to do. So that's kind of hilarious. And he's always calling me a retard. That's retarded.
Well, obviously, Jimmy Gifford, he's well-renowned striking coach, but I was looking at your fights, as I mentioned early on. Your earlier fights, you basically used the left jab, right cross to distract your opponents and set up the takedowns. But in your last fight, I noticed that I'm not sure it was your last fight, but it was your fight against Jordan Curry. You looked more comfortable in the striking, willing to strike, and a few more combos. You certainly seem more confident and comfortable. Would you say that you're coming along really nice under Jimmy Gifford?
Oh yeah. I've come night and day difference in my striking. Even from that fight, I was working with Jimmy a little bit at that time, and then now I work with him full time. I work with him at least 2-3 times a week, and my strikers came a long ways, man. And I can't wait to put that on display as well. With it complements my wrestling and my ground and pound really nicely.
So 2 times a week, is that enough for now, Miles, or are you looking to train more than 2 times a week with Jimmy? Because obviously you're a tremendous wrestler, you're quality at ground and pound, you're good at working positions. If there's any place you could really work on as you stand up, so do you think 2 times a week is enough for now?
Well, yeah, I also work full time, and I have to work on that ground game as well. I have to keep working on my wrestling and my jiu-jitsu and get my sparring in. But when I go in with Jimmy, it's just straight stand up. We just work on striking and really work on game planning, and he's got my movement crisp. So I mean, I got to stay well rounded. I mean, 2 times. I mean, I love to work with him all the time, but 2 times a week for right now is plenty.
Well, let's move on to your fight against Billy the Kid Martin. Obviously, I think someone's been watching a bit too much Young Guns there with Billy the Kid. But, now, from what I understand in a recent interview, you don't like the kid for some strange reason. I think he disrespected his family or something. Could you tell us a little bit about that, please, Miles?
Well, yeah. You know, I was just researching videos on him, and the dude just really turned me the wrong way with the way he acted after he won some title fight as an amateur, I believe.
Yeah.
And his family was jumping in the cage and stuff, and he was kind of just pushing them away. And they handed him the mic, and he's like, "If you want to be the best, you got to beat the best, and I'm the best." And he threw the mic down, and I'm just like, "Are you kidding me, man?" So you know, I don't know the guy, and I don't want to talk too much trash about him, but just when you see that, gets you a little more amped up and a more like, all right, you think you're the best, really?
Well, his family's trying to get in on his moment, obviously. Well,
I mean, I know you get hyped up after a fight, man, but come on.
Well, what you could do, are you tempted to, you know, when you win the fight, get hold of the mic and maybe do a little speech of your own? Like, hey, if you're going to be the best, you got to beat the best, Billy the Kid.
Yeah, man. No, I'll act like a professional, act like I've been there before. You know, get on the mic, thank my sponsors, and you know, and go on my way to the next one.
Well, obviously, you know, looking on paper, Billy looks like he's not in your league, so to speak. I know it's early on in your career, but you look like you're a couple of steps above Billy the Kid. Would you say that's correct?
Well, yeah. When they first told me about the fight, I was thinking, you know, maybe we'll get somebody else. Maybe we'll do a different one. You know, because I want, you know, to fight tough guys, but at the same time, you know, I don't want to look past this guy, you know, and he took the fight because it's been hard for me to get fights. I had a fight in December in LA for the RFA, and whoever they had from me backed out, and I've had a ton of people back out. So, you know, I'm gonna give anybody respect that's gonna stick in there and do what they say they're gonna do and fight me. And the kid obviously loves to fight. You know, he has I think he has over 20 fights. If you include his amateur record, I think he has over 30 fights if you include his amateur record. So, you know, I don't want to overlook him. And I've seen some fights where he looked pretty good, and other ones where he didn't look so good. So we'll see who shows up that night.
Have you found it harder to get fights on the regional circuit since going to Syndicate MMA and training in Las Vegas? Or was it always hard for you to get fights due to your solid wrestling base and obviously regional reputation?
Yeah, it's just, you know, it's ridiculous, man. We put anybody that's true to this game, man, we put so much into it. It's 2 months to getting ready for the fight and to back out is just like, you know, it's like a worm, man. How could you do that to somebody? I mean, there's some people that have legitimate reasons, you know, they get hurt, you know, they have legitimate reasons, but a lot of times they just get close to the fight and then they think they don't believe in themselves and they're gonna get beat up and they don't show up, and that's the worst thing you could do.
Well, we'll talk about your improved striking. Obviously, you've been finishing fights via submission on the ground or ground and pound, basically making them tap into submission, which is pretty brutal. You know, even high level now, you don't really get many finishes via, you know, tap into strikes. So, you know, we'll talk about your improved striking, you know, your confidence gaining since training with Jimmy. Do you think Billy the Kid is someone you can really test out your stand-up skills against? And are you really itching to get that finish on the feet?
Yeah, man, I would love to. I really, really want to just, you know, get that highlight real knockout. But you know, you can't go hunting for it, man. You got to take what comes. You know, I don't want to go out there and you know, force anything, but you know, I think my skills have come, and it's gonna, and the knockout's coming. And I know that you know, my stand-up's come so far, and I hit it like a truck, so it's coming.
Well, obviously, you mentioned that, you know, it's hard to get fights. People pull out last minute. You spend too much training on the regional circuits. Are you really like trying to push towards getting to a big promotion now? Obviously, you trained with Brandon Empelman in the past. You trained with Mike Pyle. So obviously, these guys are at World Series, they're at UFC. You train with Jimmy Gifford. He trains at a UFC-owned gym, apparently. So, are you really expecting to, you know, be at a big promotion real soon? No disrespect to the regional circuits, but obviously, a fight of your caliber, you train out in Las Vegas, you've committed to a full-time job out there. Is it really important to push forward to get into a big promotion now?
Yeah, that's my dream, man. To you know, be fighting in the UFC. So that's definitely what I'm looking for, man. Hoping it's going to pay off in the next couple of fights. And like I was telling you before, I had a fight already with the RFA, and that's a pretty big promotion. It's on Access TV. It's on national television. So
how many do you think it'll take to, you know, get this recognition? Because the likes of the UFC, they take on fighters with possibly 7-8-0 records. The likes of World Series of Fighting, they'll take you on with a better 4-0 record. So possibly you could be looking at a call-up in your next 1 or 2 fights. Or would you prefer to wait out for the UFC?
I would, you know, prefer to go to the UFC. I mean, if the UFC gave me a chance right now, I mean, I had a manager call me, tell me he had a UFC fight lined up for me. Within 2 weeks, I was out of shape. I said I had to cut down to 170, and I said, yeah. I was like, and I didn't hesitate for a second. I was like, give me the fight. Like, I'll cut down to 170. I'll be ready in 2 weeks, because that's my dream, man. And I'm willing to take the shot at any time, at any moment, man. That's what I want.
Okay, Miles, to wrap up the interview, is there any thanks, any sponsors you'd like to mention?
Yeah, so big shout out to Warrior Fuel, Virus, Garden Life, TLC Home Care. Sorry, man, I don't want to forget anybody.
No worries.
American Staffing, and Las Vegas Pain Relief Center.
Awesome, Miles. Thank you very much for the time. I know you're very busy.
Oh yeah, man. Thanks for having me.
No worries. Okay, from the MMA Crypt Fighting Talk Show. Thank you for watching.